It's week 29 of 2018. We have a ton of Microsoft stories to talk about, as well as updates on Prime Day and National Emoji Day, and a couple of cloud providers getting into the hardware game. That's all coming up on the Technado, starting right now. Hello, welcome to the Technado. I'm your host, Peter Van Rysdam, and as you can see, once again, Don is just it's vacation this
slacking.
week, just off enjoying the world and leaving us here to get to talk to you about the latest in tech news. But we have Daniel Lowry here, who is someone you've seen many times.
Nothing wrong with silver.
No.
At all.
What does that mean?
That means I'm second place.
Oh, okay. I was like, your hair is not. You've got
I'm getting there.
A full head of
Getting there.
nice brown hair. All right, well, fantastic. Now, on that note, let's go ahead and jump right in because we have a ton of articles and a lot of Microsoft stuff today. Some cloud hardware, which is going to be interesting. But we want to give you an update on a story from last week to start off. We talked about Android P doesn't support WPS and it may be gone for good. Well, thank goodness. Google says it's coming back.
Yeah, that's right. It's not gone for good. It's actually going to be here with us for quite some time.
And so, where's the update? It says the issue's been fixed.
Well,
oh, yeah. Is it?
A little.
Oh, yeah. Despite the way it was looking like an intentional move, Google has since responded to it. So, so luckily, I don't know, depending on how you feel about it.
I mean, there's some insecurities with WPS, which is like if you have physical access to the device, you very well may be able to connect to it, and then you have access to that network, and you start your sniffing and all the other fun stuff that the kids rave about these days.
Oh, the kids and the
they love the hacking, don't they?
I don't know if I'm the first to, but happy Prime Day.
Oh yes, happy Prime Day.
So big celebration in the family. Did you get anything?
Yeah, I got angry.
You did. Oh, okay, perfect. I got the Amazon Echo Spot, the little round one, because I wanted that on the nightstand as kind of my alarm clock. I've been looking at it for a while, but it was down to $99, so I said, let's go ahead and do that. But I noticed when I went to buy it, I got to a screen that said, hold on, we're experiencing high volume. I was able to just go back and do it again because that's what they want you to do is just keep refreshing, I think.
Because that doesn't add to the problem at all,
So I did that and it was able to work. But
what you don't know is you bought 6 of them.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, they're all coming today. But yeah, this article on ITPro today outlines some of the problems that were had. It says Amazon suffers tech crash and strikes during Prime Day. So yeah, if the website doesn't work, well, at least you can rely on the people. Oh no, they're not here.
Oh, they're gone. They're not working, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
they're outside and angry protest even.
Yeah, not a great day for Amazon. It said trouble on the site spiked right at about 3 p.m. That's kind of when things kicked off, and it said they were expecting sales up 40% from last year because they extended it. It was like 36 hours this time.
Yeah,
but
I like how it says that they were expecting sales of $3.4 billion for Prime Day.
One day.
We need to have like an ITProTV Prime Day if we're going to make $3.4 billion bucks. I mean, we make that happen.
Yeah, and so the company's stock took a little hit as a result of some of the problems, and basically it was just, well, it was almost like a DDoS attack in itself, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was basically, it's exactly right. It was an unintentional DDoS in a lot of ways. And it affected not only Amazon Prime, but AWS and Echoes and Alexa stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Everything was getting spotty.
How does this happen when they have the power of AWS behind them? Is that something that
tells you how many people were actually trying to buy stuff from Amazon that day? Like, that's a lot. And you have multiple sessions. You got, plus the average attack surface that's happening where people are constantly trying to you're basically, if I'm already out there going, I'm going to get you Amazon, and my DDoS is going crazy with my little botnet I've got going on, and now the world is kind of joined in on the fun, it kind of makes it a little more effective.
Yeah, maybe they have to start Prime Day in the middle of the night or something because it was the beginning of it. Basically,
you'll get a text when Prime Day starts.
Prime Day starts in your area or something. But
that'd be a solution, to be honest with you.
So they were blown up on Twitter pretty heavily, but not a great day for them. But they did have a good day. I think it was right before Prime Day. Another article also on IT Pro today. Cisco and Juniper fall on reports that Amazon may sell data switches. So this one was interesting to me because you think about, I'm moving to the cloud now, so I've got my stuff out in the cloud. I don't need to worry about buying physical hardware as much. So who are these switches for then?
Therefore, well, we still have enterprise environments that have on-prem devices. So that's still a thing. ISPs, things of that nature are still always going to have, or at least I say always. I'll put an asterisk next to that. Almost always are going to have physical devices for them to connect into a cloud network. You have to have some sort of gateway. So this is typically your Cisco's, your Junipers that do these types of things. So when Amazon goes, hey man, they're making all sorts of money doing that. Let's get in the business and let's slash prices.
Yeah.
By they were talking 40 to 80% or some junk like that on certain or comparable devices from Cisco. That's a big hunk of money. Now Cisco owns that market, man. Like Cisco's, I think it's over half their revenue comes from the physical devices that they sell.
Wow.
So for Amazon to jump in that game and really put a dent, I mean, they've had issues in the past with Huawei or whatever, the Chinese competitor, basically
just undercutting.
I'm not going to say that they stole the designs to Cisco hardware, but man, they're close. Someone was really on the same thinking path.
Their Frisco device looked amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, this actually says their so-called white box switches would be 70 to 80% less than compatible ones from Cisco, meaning they're able to leverage their their supply chain, and maybe Cisco's a little overpriced.
Well, let's put it this way: like you can buy a Cisco switch that'll run you $100,000.
Yeah.
All right. Now all of a sudden, I can get a competitive switch for 80% less than that.
I'm going to get 5 of them.
And it's from Amazon, right? Now I have the ability to increase my infrastructure, or at least take that money that I was spending on infrastructure equipment and put it toward other things like cloud. Or maybe have, 2 pen tests a year instead of 1. And, so now I'm able to increase security. So that's a real, this is the nature of competitive business. We need the competition is going to breed this type of thing where now prices come down to the end user because they have more competition. So.
Yeah, but it's so amazing the impact that a company like Amazon can have that they say, hey, we're thinking about doing this.
Just say, we thought about it. We were sitting around a bar last night. It was like, what if we got into networking equipment and some stockbroker overheard it and they put it in the Wall Street Journal and now stocks go down.
And Cisco shares fell 6.1% and Juniper's fell 3.9%.
Isn't this the plot of Wall Street?
I think so. Yeah, it's pretty much it.
That's what it's happening.
Then you nailed it. Well, not to be outdone with their own hardware, Microsoft said, you know what? We've got cloud hardware as well. Welcome to our newest family member, the Data Box Disk. And anyone who watches Silicon Valley, I assume, was thinking this is the Gavin Belson signature box. But what exactly is this box? Because this isn't a switch.
No. This is basically a fancy hard drive. A very large, very fast hard drive, and what it does is it allows you to go, you know what, I want to move my, or at least some or all of my on-prem stuff into Azure, right? I got a lot of data to move though. So you can get one of these data boxes. It's got fast interfaces where you can plug this into your on-prem network, copy all your data to it, and then send it to Microsoft, and then they will quickly, using their infrastructure, upload it into your cloud environment in Azure.
And I guess that would be quicker. I think about when we moved, I think a lot of our data storage here at ITProTV to Dropbox, and moving that stuff took 4 or 5 days. If you had something like this and you put everything on it and shipped it, it would be it would be up in the cloud by the time we're halfway done with
and we're small fry as far as data consumption goes is to a lot of companies.
Yeah, if you're video sharing.
And we've been around for 15 years. Then that's a lot of data.
Yeah.
Even where I've worked in the past, we had, I think, 90 terabytes of data just on user stuff.
Wow.
So, that's not including all the other things. That was just claims and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because I worked for an insurance company.
Yeah. This says the data box disk that you receive it has 5 8 terabyte disks. fast SSD technology, ship it overnight, and you're set to go. And I mean, there's a little worry at some point about, you talk about all of the security about your network, and you're putting it in the hands of the the guy in the brown shirt with the truck.
Yeah. I wonder if they're using UPS or if they're using some more secured, because I mean there are sensitive things that need to be shipped, and I would assume that there are. I've never had to ship them, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm assuming those things.
There are companies that specialize in maybe like Iron Mountain or something.
That's true. Yeah, if you had that kind of data, I mean, I assume you'd be flying with a briefcase.
Exactly.
Handcuffed to your wrist.
3 armed guards with AK-47.
Which I've always wanted one of those briefcases, but someday.
Get you one.
All right. Sticking with Microsoft, rather, which we will be doing for a lot of this episode here on the Technado. They are announcing a public preview of Azure Virtual LAN and Azure Firewall. So we're not talking about physical hardware now. We're talking about virtual stuff, right? So this is for adding security to the things we have.
Yeah, and trying to make things a little bit easier. So you're basically taking your VPN or your SD-WAN stuff, your software-defined wide area networking technologies, and you have your own equipment. There's hardware equipment that you as the consumer or the customer has on your network, and what they're doing is they're allowing you to basically jack into an Azure hub, and then it goes, okay, now we create this nice, secure, fast tunnel between your cloud environment and your CPE stuff, which is your client provided equipment.
Yeah, so we're seeing this graph here on the screen. So that's basically kind of showing what you're talking about with the different regions.
And those hubs are going to be, instead of just getting wherever you get, wherever your data center might be as far as your Azure goes, they go, oh, there's a hub close to your customer who is in this remote office. You can create a VPN tunnel right into that, and now it's fast because it hits our network, and it's secure because it's on Microsoft's network at that point. And they have like intelligent routing so that it takes the most optimal path possible. So everything starts to speed up once you hit them. So it gives you a speed increase. It gives you a security increase once you get on their network, and that's what they're trying to do.
Gotcha. Very cool. Well, that could speed things up and definitely help with security. Well, let's go to more of a couple things on the Windows side. Next up here, also from Microsoft, they're announcing Windows 10 Insider Preview build 17.7.13. So, man, this is the one we've all been waiting for,
man,
right?
I know that I've had this day on my calendar for quite some time. I don't use Microsoft.
What's from your System 76? Or no, that's your MacBook.
It's a MacBook, and it's running Mac OS and Linux.
All right.
So.
Well, what's new in this release here?
So let's see here. Edge improvements, which is always nice to see. And actually, as I read through the improvements that they're going to be doing to Edge, I was pleasantly surprised at some of the cool stuff that they've really innovative, really cool. What I like, especially this. Not the per site. I mean, they got this per site media autoplay control. So if I want autoplay on this site, like Instagram, but I go to Facebook and I don't want it, I can set those per site. So that's kind of cool. But usually, at least in my experience, most people either it's always on or it's always off kind of people, not mixing and matching. But you never know.
Maybe there's one site you want to whitelist.
Yeah. Exactly. But this is the one I thought was cool, which is the lookup definitions for words in reading view, books and PDFs. Super cool. So you just highlight the text and you have a lookup feature. It gives you definitions like right there within the thing. Kind of like how if you go to Wikipedia now, they have a lot more things highlighted for links. But once you hover over the links, it kind of gives you a small description of what that is. So you don't have to follow the link.
Well, I like that read aloud too, because there's a lot of times you're going, how do you pronounce that? And it would be great to see that. Especially with names, if they can do that.
You got to put the proper emphasis on the syllable.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're going to go. PDF reader improvements. I mean, that's kind of cool if you're into that, where you can undock the PDF reader bar and just some more text descriptions on what those things do. So you're not going, what does this button do? That's in there. Improvements on Notepad.
Yes.
Okay, so the improvement that they show, and about time, where I can do Control plus and Control minus to zoom the text in or out. I've been enjoying these features for quite some time as a non-Windows user. So it's like, why are you Johnny come lately on this? Like, why did the first person to do that, you not go, oh, let's do that. Let's do that now.
Yeah. Why are we not doing
why
that
did
now?
Notepad have to wait this long before text zooming was available? But very cool stuff. what else? It says line and column numbers work with word wrap. So if you have a word wrap that goes around, to the next line because it's too long to fit on the one line, it will still say that is line 1, right? It doesn't say, oh, that's line 2, or break line numbers altogether. Remote desktop with biometrics is also a new feature in this release of Windows 10. So kind of cool. You can add that functionality, get you some MFA stuff going on, which is multi-factor authentication, to authenticate using remote desktop. So it's a little more secure now.
Just another reason that people are going to try to steal my thumb or my retina.
I'm going to need you to put your finger through this little guillotine here. That's that's okay.
Scanner. I mean scanner.
Yeah, it's a scanner. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Web sign into Windows 10. So this is cool. So if you're using federated services with Windows 10, you can now have a single sign-on using their web sign-in to that. So if you don't have a computer, I think it says you do have to be Azure AD joined in Windows 10. So your Windows 10 machine must be Azure AD joined. But after that, you can use the web sign-in to federated services. Get that single sign-on greatness that everybody loves so much.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, and there's a lot more improvements there. You can definitely go onto the Windows blog there.
Yeah, it was a good release. I mean, they did a lot of things to it, so it was worthy of a release, I think.
Yeah, and that wasn't the only release that they did on the preview build 17.7.13. Microsoft also announced here on their blog that they were launching Windows Server 2019 with the insider preview build of the same number. So obviously this is more on the server side.
Yeah, and I should have lobbied for this to be the funny tech article of the day, because if you scroll down where it says what's new, it says no new features have been introduced in this build. It's like, why are we doing it then?
Perfect.
Guess it's as good as mine.
Well, that's available now to download for those of you that
stay with the one you
want to make sure it says you are on the latest version. Apparently, that's really strange.
It's for people that buy a new iPhone because it came out in space gray.
Yeah. Well,
there's no real difference other than the color.
It matches my belt.
Yeah, it does.
Well, I love that someone had to write this blog post. Two people, Donna and Brandon, collaborated to say, "Hey, so what are we going to write?" Yeah. All right. Well. Good for them.
Yeah, good for
them. Well, you mentioned some Edge stuff, and I think it's interesting that they're well, it's not interesting. I mean, obviously Microsoft really wants to position Edge as a great browser, but I've never seen anyone go and say, I'm going to download Edge on my MacBook or on my Chromebook, but they're trying to get to that point where it's a browser like Chrome that you want to put across all your devices, and they're testing some stuff here on iOS now with a beta that allows visual search, paste and search, and more features. So where basically you can take a photo and turn around and search for that photo, and I guess it's analyzing the content. I assume there's just a team of people that then look at the photo real quick when you send it in and go, what do I see?
It's kind of like
he's at Grand Central Station. Central Station.
It's the 21st century version of the Flintstones, where there's a hamster inside of the thing that eating all the garbage you put down the disposal. Right?
Let's look. Let's be bold here and click on this little video and snap a picture and search. So sir. Intelligent visual search. I'm narrating for those that are just listening on the audio version.
Powered by AI and machine learning.
I love those. Yeah, it's got all the buzzwords. Okay, so you snap a picture, and then you crop it. Oh, so it's, in this one they snapped a picture of a guy wearing a jacket. They cropped it, and they found links to buy that jacket.
I think that Samsung's Bixby feature does that. Something similar.
Does it? Yeah.
Where if you're taking like a photo or you're looking at something like the Bixby, these blue dots jump up on the screen and you can click on them and it'll say, oh, look for that lamp that's in this.
Well, that's the interesting part. So it looks like, you're kind of in control of it. You crop the image and you say, cool. In this image with a woman and some trees and a dog, you can either say, identify what this tree is and you get the cherry blossom, or identify the dog and you get a beagle there. So
now I know why it's taken so long for them to come out with zooming. And they've been working on this thing. So
well, I also now see why they didn't release any features in Windows Server's latest update, because they were busy. They're like, did you see the photo thing with the dog?
Edge is going to be the next big thing. It is cool, though.
Yeah, that's very cool. That. Yeah, well, and honestly, I don't know if visual search is built into any of the other. The only thing I've seen is like the Google image reverse image search, where you can go and find other images like that. But that's pretty cool. All right, more Microsoft. Do you believe it or not? No, I think this is the last one. But
they were the only one that did
Microsoft,
anything this week.
Yeah, well, but apparently not. They just released blog posts about.
Yeah, well, Amazon
didn't do
down.
anything.
So,
yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Microsoft's killing off old Skype client, adding in built-in call recording. So they're coming out with the new version, basically saying we're not supporting the old version anymore. And
old versions.
Old versions, really?
Right?
Okay.
Oh, I mean,
let's see what we got.
They're like a deprecated version that was around for certain types of clients, and there was the new version that you get only in the App Store, right? And there was like that was completely different, and where at least it had a lot of different feature sets than one versus the other. They're now going, you know what? Let's just unify this all and make one Skype to rule them all, and in the darkness bind them. Right. So,
well, yeah, they're saying the Windows 32 Skype client is being end of lifed, which. That's a great term. I'd like us to bring that into. Yeah. I'm sorry, son. Our dog has been end of life.
We no longer support him.
It's terrible. Jeez. All right. Well, it's just got dark. It's got really dark. But
took a bad turn there.
But now you've got the Skype client where you can have 1080p up to 24 people, and you can record now, apparently, which is pretty cool. So no more having to worry about taking notes. Just have it there, and then you can go back and image search and find out what kind of dog that woman has.
They also had some talk about how it will integrate better with things like Twitch. So if you do kind of a streaming service or something like that.
Do all my video gaming.
Gotta watch that stuff, right? Yeah. I've literally never watched anything on Twitch.
I mean, I'm not a big gamer myself.
I'm not.
But I'm like,
I like games.
I like games. I can't not imagine.
But the hours on end, and I sure as heck don't enjoy watching other people play them.
I do not. Well, let's shift gears finally away from Microsoft. We've got some great Google news. Not great if you're Google, great if you're Europe.
Right now.
Yeah, Europe is with $5 billion in
just increased their GDP
in antitrust fines ahead of appeal. So this, I believe, this was related to Android, right?
Yes, to Android.
Like apps kind of built into the platform.
So it was the fact that Google is the default search engine on Android devices. And okay, so we've been down this road before. Microsoft used to do this, right? Where you bought Windows, you got IE bundled with it, and it was just there. So it increased its market share and reliance. People just became like hooked on, they were popping a vein for IE.
Yeah.
And so it was like, hold on, that discourages competition, which reduces prices and gives people more competitive products and things of that nature. They're saying that Google has done the same thing, basically by saying you have kept a hold on owning that search engine market by putting it in. 4 out of every 5 devices are now Google searchers. And even then, if you're running something else, people are hooked on Google when it comes to searching, and they say that's because what you've done with it. So that's an antitrust violation. So you got to stop doing that. You have to have them set their, what search engine do you want to use at the outset when you start using your device for the first time. And you go to search for something. Great. Yeah. So you want to search something. Which search provider should I make your default?
Yeah.
Instead of just, it's Google. It's Google.
If I want to Bing on my Android device, then I can.
You had to go out there and Bing it up yourself. You couldn't just. It wasn't really an option in their opinions. But Google is not taking this lying down. Their legal team is rallying, and appeals are expected.
Looking forward to that riveting transcript.
C-SPAN.
Man,
we don't have
Court
TV anymore. Yeah.
Ever since OJ, they kind of peaked early there.
They did.
All right, sticking with Google, and is this not a mobile
just
one?
Keep on coming, don't
Google
they?
Chrome increases memory usage to combat Spectre. So, as opposed to just taking Spectre lying down, they're increasing the memory. I wish they'd just do that anyway.
So this is an interesting. This is a dilemma. Really, they're in a dilemma. They have no good option. So what do? They go with the best no good option, which is to decrease the performance of your Chrome browser so that it increases the security. All right. So Chrome is kind of notorious for eating up CPU and memory specifically, right? They're super utilization hogs when it comes to the mem. And yeah, We all know that. We all know the story. Now we've got this whole Spectre and Meltdown thing going on. So like, well, we're going to protect you against Spectre, but the fix kind of like makes us more of a memory hog by like a lot.
Yeah, it says they're going to consume up to 13% more of your system memory. They said that in their latest blog post.
Yeah, that's a lot, Holmes, especially since the vast majority of things that you do are through your browser.
Yeah, your Chromebook will explode.
Yeah, so Chromebooks, right? The typical Chromebook comes with like 4 gigs of RAM.
Yeah,
right, maybe 8. Some of them have more. You can get 16 and stuff like that. But well, why are you buying a Chromebook? Because you want to save some money. It's a cheap and good alternative to a full blown laptop. Because again, most of the things we do in our lives are cloud based, so we're just accessing it through a browser. I don't need a ton of storage because Google Drive, because I have a Chromebook, gives me like 100 gigs of storage or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got between 16 and 32 gigs of local storage, and I have external drives that I can connect through USB. So all these things come into play. It's just the browser needs to run. But now that's going to kill Chromebooks. It's going to make them hurt.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like you said, it's a trade-off because of and it's not.
They're doing the
best
they
fault.
can.
This is a processor thing, and
they didn't
they're
make that
finding a way
processor.
to address it. So, I guess we'll take the good with the bad, and it's better than all of the things that you do on your laptop or your device.
Can I install
getting out
Firefox
there.
on my Chromebook? We'll have to
not
see.
anymore.
We'll have to see.
I don't think you can't because you don't have the processing power anymore.
Well, I just have to. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to terminate.
I have to eke through working with Chrome until I can get Firefox installed.
Maybe this is the opening now for people to say, you know what? Why don't I just get Edge on this Chromebook? Probably not.
Probably.
All right. Now let's move over to 9 to 5 Mac. I've got an article here about Bluetooth 5.0, a glimpse into the future of wireless Apple products. So, why is this coming up now? Why is this news? What's going on with Bluetooth 5.0?
Bluetooth 5.0 is kind of the new hotness when it comes to Bluetooth. That's what's up, man. Like, if you look at the specs through this article on what it says, like the difference between the latest version of Bluetooth and Bluetooth 5.0. It's like leaps and bounds. It's like we went from Star Trek TOS to the next generation in just like that, like hundreds of years.
And so what is this on? This is on the latest iPhones and the latest, it says the MacBook Pros with Touch Bar and HomePod?
Is it out or is it? So it's gone on the radar. Okay, it's in the latest iPhone revisions.
Okay.
So if you look at the speed increases and the distance increases of what you can do with it, so much better.
Do we have a chart here?
So we have double speeds. So Bluetooth version 4.2 has throughput of 1 megabit per second. With 5.0, it is doubled to 2 megabits per second.
Right here. Yep.
Right. So that makes things work a whole lot faster when it comes to uploading or moving files and stuff like that. And since most things, especially that Apple does, like Apple Music's already streaming at 256 kbps. So it's like I can now attach more devices at those speeds, giving me more function. So maybe I don't necessarily go for a speed increase because I can't, because the Apple Music is capped at a certain level. I can now add more devices to it. Also, if you look at where was it? There we go. The range is capable of 4x range from going from 200 feet or 60 meters to 800 feet. Wow. Or 240. So you can get a whole lot more distance from your device that's connected Bluetooth. I thought that was like one of the biggest jumps.
I could accidentally still be connected to my my speaker at home. Like, why aren't I hearing anything? I'm at work. It's going through the house right now. The dog is going, why are you in this phone call?
Yeah. And the lag times are down from 40 to 50 millisecond lag to 20 to 50 millisecond lag. So you could see a significant increase or decrease in lag.
So is this something where both sides have to support 5.0? I mean, obviously, let's say I've got the latest iPhone, that's got it, but the headphones I buy or whatever. Okay. Yeah. Very cool. Well, we'll be looking out for that in the latest and greatest stuff, and I'm sure it'll be continuing to come out in the new MacBooks that are going to be coming out later this year. So exciting. All right, I love this story over on Motherboard. Top voting machine vendor admits it installed remote access software on systems sold to states. So I got thinking about this, and I used to watch the show Scandal before I realized it was terrible.
Oh,
and,
my wife loves that show.
Yeah,
she's like, this is the best show
well,
ever
it was
made.
good, and then it was like, well, this is just a soap opera.
It's basically. It's a big
but,
soap opera.
there was a point where they were talking about hacked voting machines, and they had to go and physically check the machine, and they had to do it like a USB thing. You're saying,
right.
Why is there even a USB slot on this machine?
Right.
But
well, data has to come in and out of it somehow.
Yeah, I guess. Well, how about some proprietary thing that only they have? I don't know.
I mean, that could be.
Yeah, but anyway, my point is, even on this overly dramatic soap opera, they said, well, we wouldn't connect to it, remotely. You've still got to have physical access.
It's so funny, like, we're quick to jump on the voting machine industry, but like, everybody's doing this. Like ICS and SCADA systems that are critical infrastructure to our country and lives and whatnot. They're going, those air gap systems we keep air gap for security reasons. I say we add some Wi-Fi to that, because just this walking over to it and upgrading it and thing, that is a lot of manpower and time.
Put Bluetooth 5.0 on it.
Yeah, there we go. Now we're ready to rock. So this is an increased thing. So I did read this article, and it was a little conspiracy theory-ish.
Sure. Yeah, Motherboard.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, it is possible because of these different things that this could have been done, but there is no smoking gun yet.
Right.
As far as evidence goes. But yeah, not a smart idea to put, what was it, like
a PC Anywhere
was on there. I'm like, oh man.
So it's even not even like your own proprietary thing that you have.
And in the industry of creating these voting machines, the people that do this as a business, it's super competitive. Once you get in, just kind of like a good old boys network, where once you're in, and you can make tons of money. So they've got like a lot of money online. Not that that's an excuse for any kind of like, malfeasance, but so they're not very quick. They have these insane NDAs for anybody that works with them. You're not allowed to talk about these machines. And again, it's a dilemma thing that kind of comes up where we have to keep the voting thing secure, because if we were just telling everybody and their brother about it, we'd have news articles about, this industry is leaking all the secrets on how you can get into them. And so they create all these really tight NDAs for people to talk about them, but that leads to them being afraid to talk about bugs. So if someone finds a bug, they don't release it.
Yeah.
Right. Why do they not release it to the public? Because then someone could create an exploit over it. And so it's this weird vicious circle. It's not as easy and cut and dry as it seems in a lot of ways.
Well, my favorite part of this is the Senator Wyden from Oregon, who is kind of featured in this story, said this is the worst decision for security short of leaving ballot boxes on a Moscow street corner.
Which is where I was like, all right, that's more op-ed.
Yeah, but I love that idea. Well, you know what else would save money? Yeah, if the storage unit I could get in Moscow to store the voting machines in between, it's cheaper to ship them there than just. So much is. Yeah, it's strange how that works. Well, that's a fun story, and not even our crazy story for the week. We'll get to that. But now let's move over to ZDNet. Thousands of mega logins dumped online, exposing user files. So this is another one of those headlines that maybe sounds a little scarier than it is.
Yeah,
or?
Yeah.
So what's going on with this story?
We were talking about this. This headline is meant to go, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
Another data
was
breach.
Was it me? Yeah.
So what has happened is there is an attack that you can use, and it's called, I can't remember the name of this thing. What is it called? It is, I'm going to find it soon. I know it's in here. I should have looked it up before we go. But you're taking from other data breaches around the world, that stuff kind of gets out there into the internet, and you can see here is data that has been breached. Well, an attacker can take that and go, oh, there's a bunch of lists of usernames and passwords. I wonder if these people that had their data breached from this service use the same username and password on another service. And that's what happened. It wasn't that there was some vulnerability in Mega that they exploited, or at least from the evidence so far, that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be that they were using this type of attack. And man, I really wish I could remember the name of it. They do quote it in the article. I will find it. I will find it.
Yeah, and Mega is, of course, a file-sharing site formerly owned by internet entrepreneur Kim.com.
Yeah, I like how their name is Kim.com.
That's
Credential
fantastic.
stuffing.
Credential stuffing. Okay.
Credential stuffing. That's what it's called.
Which is what?
This is
What's
where
the name of that?
Yeah, that's that type of attack where
Okay.
I take credentials that I found from other data breaches and I just launch a massive, or a targeted attack against another service, hoping that the users from this data breach are also users on this system of which I wish to data breach. And if I find any cross-pollination, I should be able to gain access. So that's why, if you look, they said, yeah, they got like 15,000 some odd user accounts that they were able to access their accounts through. But they have like 115 million accounts.
Yeah, and so that makes you think if you're if you're notified about you use this service and hey we've got some breaches and your data might have been breached.
Right.
Obviously you want to go and you want to change your password and things on that site.
Right.
But you want to think then, did I make the mistake of using that same password on other places? It might be a smart idea then to go and do that. That's why
good security practices is to not reuse passwords.
Sure, so you don't run into that. Yeah. And I know we use LastPass here, and it's great for that. And you can also go into it and just say, go update my passwords. Kind of across the board, and they'll go out and do that for you. So.
And that's where these kind of things are becoming more prevalent.
Yeah.
So using something like LastPass is just such an easy thing to do. Go ahead, download it, install it. And until you find, oh, by the way, LastPass was data breached yesterday.
And I give up. That's everything.
Just unplug all your stuff and start reading books.
Yeah. All right. We've got a couple of Linux articles here to wrap us up this week. This one over on Full Circle Magazine. Atari VCS RAM doubled to 8 gigs, but will ship with a Linux-based distro, Atari OS. So they're basically making their own OS here.
Looks like, yeah.
What is this one based off of?
I don't know. Probably Ubuntu or Debian.
Ubuntu.
Yeah.
I like to just make up words that I know. I just threw out some buzzwords.
Custom Linux-based OS. Maybe it's its own fork.
Our core architecture consists of the Atari Secure Hypervisor and a heavily modified Linux kernel called Atari OS.
Yeah. So
their own branch.
They're building their own branch. At least that's what it seems from this article. Doesn't reach out. I mean, maybe you could Wikipedia that and see if it's a fork of some sort. But
I love that.
Not mentioning it.
I don't remember the site it was that Don had it on, but he had that whole Linux family tree.
It's crazy.
Just amazing to look at. But I more put this article in because I was excited to see Atari was still alive.
Yeah, it's a gaming console.
It looks like.
I haven't heard much about it.
Yeah,
so
I have
far,
not either.
So.
So this is console will ship with 8 gigs of DDR4 RAM. It doesn't say when it will ship, but there it is, July 2019. So
a year.
Yeah. So maybe if something's built on Linux, maybe there's more things you can do with it than gaming. And
what's funny is like I see Atari and I'm like, cool, we get to play Asteroids. It's Centipede time.
Pong.
Yeah. That's the games I want to play. I don't need 8 gigs of DDR4.
Yeah. How fast is Centipede going to be on this?
That's all I need to know.
All right, one more Linux article here over on opensource.com. The oldest active Linux distro, Slackware, turns 25. So was this originally created by Linus?
No.
What is this one?
It is just the oldest. So Linus created the Linux kernel.
The kernel, okay.
Right? And then distributions of Linux were created using the kernel and going, well, I want to package this with it. I'm going to put this different desktop manager that I like, and I'm going to add these software apps that I like. And then that becomes, Peter's OS, right? And POS is all right.
POS, yes.
POS.
That wasn't on purpose,
POS,
was it?
Not at all. Right. It's amazing, and then you stop supporting it because you use Ubuntu, right? And then people stop using POS. But Slackware has been around for quite some time. This used to be my distro of choice. And it was for the hardcore people that said, you know what, I'm really going to dive deep into this thing. It was a minimalist system. You had to know what you were doing to get it installed and get it functional. So if you wanted to know Linux as an operating system, Slackware was a really good option for you to get in there and say, I'm going to get in the guts of this thing and figure out how to work with this operating system, and I'm going to make it my daily driver. So, and it kind of has kept that around. It's still kind of that way. I haven't installed Slack in a couple of years now, so I'd be interested. I probably should go out and grab a copy of it just to knock the dust off of
and it's
GUI-driven installs.
We're 30 versions later, back from July 17th, 1993, when they announced version 1.0. So that's amazing.
Linux came out in 91.
So
that tells you how long it's been around. Yeah.
Well, and so there were probably ones that came out earlier but have not stood the test of time like this one has.
Yes.
So and it says it's not quite as big, obviously, as the newer things. The slightly younger Debian has 10 times the number of subscribers.
It says the earliest releases of SUSE Linux were based on Slackware, and distributions such as Arch Linux can be seen as philosophical heirs to Slackware. Which I totally I totally get that, because Arch is meant to be the power user's Linux. Like, something, or you want to learn something about how this thing works, you have to have wherewithal within the operating system to be able to use it.
Sure.
Ask Ronnie about his Arch Linux installation.
I will. We'll have an update on that next week.
Quite an adventure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just getting it
16
going.
days later, you got it installed.
Fantastic. All right, we're going to close with just a story that is near and dear to my. Well, I don't have a soul as a ginger, but
years ago.
Redheads finally get recognition with the ginger emoji. So this has been something that has been a struggle for years. I mean, you can see this tweet here. So let me get this straight. There's a merman emoji now, but still no ginger emoji. Are we just to
assume that they are stepchildren?
Just right off the bat?
Just out of the bat.
Yeah, so we've got this variety. It was National Emoji Day this week too. So in addition to Prime Day, I mean, that's
a huge week. Is everyone was trying to buy emojis off of Amazon?
Buy emojis, yeah.
Killed them.
So Apple released some new ones, and this was part of the bunch here. So very exciting. I guess I'd probably go with this is the lightest one.
They should have just made it Daphne from Scooby-Doo.
Do I look?
The ginger everybody likes.
Let me just bring this up real big next to.
Where's the Peter Van Rystum? Yeah, you're close to that. He needs a beard. And
eye color, glasses. But
freckles.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, how come none of them have freckles? Let's be honest.
Let's
lay our cards on the table here, Apple.
Is there a setting for that? Let's see.
Yeah, how do I add freckles?
Yeah, so now when you mouse over the standard emoji, you get those options of all the different variations, and there will never be enough. Everyone will not be happy. But
so what do they say? We're becoming like a hieroglyphic language, where we just talk in pictures now.
Yeah. Well, there's over 140 million natural redheads making up the world's population. So, I mean, Ireland had to just be going nuts.
They're like, and we make up 70% of that.
Yes, we do.
That's right. It's just the Dutch.
I apologize to any of our Irish listeners for those horrible accents.
I don't apologize for you.
I apologize for mine.
I did my best. It was meant to be. I like Irish accents.
Yeah.
I like how I's in Irish accents are like oi, but like a soft oi. So it's not Ireland, it's Ireland.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah, interesting.
I wish it was all spelled phonetically too. That'd be fun. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today on the Technado, except for Don, who did not join us on the
Couldn't
Technado.
be bothered to stop by.
Yeah. What's he thinking? But we did want to let you know about a couple of things, just housekeeping notes. First of all, we'd like to thank our sponsor, ITProTV. There's a couple of ITProTV logos around us right now.
You might have seen lingering, floating in the ether.
Got that one. We got these ones here. But we should do a contest one day. Count the logos and see. And we might find somebody.
Every time you found a logo, you got to take a drink.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. No, someone would die immediately with that. But if you do want to check out ITProTV, definitely use the coupon code podcast30 that gets you 30% off of your subscription, and it's for the lifetime of your subscription. So as you renew, you're still getting that great discount and able to check out content on all the kind of things we talked about today. A lot of cloud stuff, a lot of Microsoft stuff. So definitely a lot of Linux stuff as well. So great content for anyone in the IT world. We also wanted to let you know about a webinar we have coming up. This one is Thursday, August 23rd, about surviving a DDoS attack. So it's our story. And if you're a frequent listener to the podcast here, you know that we actually did an episode on this, one of the really early ones, like the first 10 episodes. We talked about a DDoS attack that we went through, but we decided that would be a great webinar topic as well, to let people know how we handled it, how they can handle it as well. So if you want to subscribe or to register for this webinar, go to go.itpro.tv/DDoS and Just 3 fields there, company, email, and phone, and you can hear Wes and Don talk about what we did. That takes place at 2 o'clock Eastern Time on Thursday, August 23rd. So space is limited. Reserve now at go.itpro.tv/DDoS. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Daniel, any closing thoughts?
Happy birthday, Slack.
Happy birthday, Slack. Happy Emoji Day.
Yeah,
happy
not
Prime
Slack,
Day.
Slackware.
Slackware.
Yeah.
Slack.
Because everybody's stealing Slack now. That's a
true.
thing. So
yeah. Well, congratulations on all those festive things, and look forward to seeing you back here next week. Probably have Don back in the office then, and maybe Daniel will still be here. Who knows? Maybe I won't. Yeah, it's really a crapshoot at this
it really
point.
is.
So.
Roll of the dice, isn't it?
All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. Have a good week.